Bonjour, bonjour, bonjour. I am your humble French tarot reader and deck goblin Marine, and today I'm so pumped to be doing a part 2 of a haul. I had promised you there was a part 1 where I shared with you all of my newest books, tarot books, spirituality books, fiction books. If you haven't checked that out, I'll make sure to leave it in the cards. And today we're going to film part 2 where I share with you all of my newest tarot and oracle decks. I thought splitting it into would be a little bit more manageable for me, so hopefully this will be a fun treat for my fellow tarot and oracle deck lovers. Today I definitely have a good mix. I have some oracle cards, I have some tarot decks, some mass market, some indie. You guys know I am a chaotic deck goblin. We are trying to not get whiplash by the difference of art style and everything, I'm warning you. But I'm super excited about all of these decks. So if you're new here, I want to say a huge welcome. In the description box, you will find all the names of the decks I am mentioning today. This is where you will also find the link to my second channel, The Waves of Your Soul Readings, where I actually put all of these decks to good use. So this is where I post pick your pile readings, pick a card, monthly guidance, all of that good stuff. If you haven't yet joined us over there, I invite you to do so. I would love to have you. I'm trying to get to 1,000 subscribers before the end of the year, so it would make me super happy if you considered joining us over on that other channel. How are you guys doing? I hope you had a good spooky season. I hope you had a fun Halloween for those who celebrate. Just wanted to take a little moment to check in. I know I've said so in my book haul video as well, but I know I've been a little bit more quiet. This year has been really tough for me in terms of chronic illness, chronic pain. My health has been really a struggle. I have started a new hydrotherapy program though, so that hopefully will help me in terms of levels of chronic pain. I'm hoping that will help me to be able to film a little bit more than I have been able to do so towards the end of the year. And for those of you who ask, because I know I will have questions, my newest little rescue dog Pitou is doing super good. He's been with us for 2 months now, over 2 months, and is really starting to come into his own. He's turning into a cheeky little devil. He's very sweet and cute, and whilst he's still traumatized, he's slowly opening up, turning out to be very playful and very cheeky. So I wanted to tell you all he's doing good, as I know I'll have some questions, and if I remember, I'll put a little video here. You can see him having the zoomies. He does that every mealtime. He's so excited to have regular meals now after being starved in the streets for a long time, that now every time he eats he gets the zoomies, which is super cute. So that's my little intro. Let's get straight into it. Newest tarot and oracle decks. Let's go. Let's start with my only mass market deck. I've done a little bit of a mass market order, but I haven't received everything bar one. So we'll start with this one, but in my future haul, probably around December, I'll have other mass market decks to share with you as I'm waiting on a little order. But the one I have received is this one, the Ukiyo Tarot. This came out not that long ago, I believe. It's by Scarabeo, and the artist is Pietro Turino. It is inspired by Japanese mythology, Japanese folklore, and in the guidebook it actually explains to you that Ukiyo is a concept that is related to seeking pleasure in all things, I believe. Watch me talk out of my ass. Okay, let's do this well. It says that it evokes the essence of impermanence and transience of human experience, as well as a lifestyle dedicated to the pursuit of pleasure in all its form. Okay, I wasn't too off. Well done, Marine. It's in different languages. For English, you have a little bit for each of the cards, a little bit about what's going on the card, and then upright and reversed, meaning this is very RWS coded, so if you're familiar with that system, you won't have any issue. The one thing I don't like, you guys, and I'll start with that, what is going on with that cardstock? Have you guys bought this one? I'm shocked, honestly, because normally I quite like Los Scarabeo cards, but this feels like paper. And you know, if you watch my channel and you watch my videos before, I'm really not a cardstock snob. If I like the art style, I could read with toilet paper, that's how unbothered I am. But because I'm used to Los Scarabeo being decent in terms of cardstock, I was quite shocked feeling this. It feels like paper, honestly. If I bend this, I will leave a mark. So I don't know what's going on here. It's a little bit of a disappointment. Yeah, let me know if you guys have bought recent Lo Scarabeo decks and if you have seen the cardstock change or if it's just on this one. I'm really curious, so please let us know in the comments. The backings are very simple. I need to edge my copy in black, I think. In terms of the art style, you're gonna see it is obviously very like Japanese inspired, and I just thought the art style was beautiful, so that's why I picked this one up, honestly. I just thought it was really pretty. I had seen a couple of images. I hadn't really seen any kind of like review of this one. I just saw a couple of images. Specifically, I remember seeing that Two of Cups and thinking that was beautiful. So that's why I picked it up. One kind of Japanese inspired tarot deck. Well, I have a couple. I have the Botan Tarot, which I absolutely adore. It's an indie deck, so gorgeous, one of my most beautiful decks, but it's different art style. It's a lot more watercolor based. In terms of something that looks like this, I had gotten the, gosh, I even forgot the names. I dislike that tarot deck so much that it's like my brain decided to remove it from my memory database. But I had gotten a Japanese tarot deck on Etsy, not knowing it was AI. And it turned out that some of the characters had 6 fingers. It was very poorly made. It was a huge disappointment. So I very rarely use that one. And I was looking for something that was giving similar vibe of like a little bit Japanese inspired, but also a little bit fantasy inspired, but where obviously people didn't have 6 fingers and 3 legs. So I was very happy when I saw that Lo Scarabeo was doing this one. And honestly, it's really pretty. I'm starting to use it in November, so I've not used it a ton, but like I said, it's RWS coded, so gonna be easy to use if you're familiar with that system. I particularly enjoy in this one, I've noticed, the court cards. I think the court cards are really, really beautiful. This Knight of Swords is absolutely gorgeous. Honestly, this is a purchase of like, it was pretty, okay? Sometimes you buy decks because it's gonna teach you things. Sometimes, look at the knights, again, beautiful. Sometimes you buy decks because it's gonna expand your mind and maybe it's gonna challenge you, and maybe it's gonna be a deck you wanna use for other people or yourself or for journaling or whatever. Sometimes you get a deck just because it's pretty. And that was the case with this one. Honestly, I just saw a couple of images and thought it was pretty. So definitely one I can see myself using on my other channel for sure, for readings for you guys. I think it's really beautiful. The one thing I told you guys I'm not a fan of is the cardstock. Again, for me, my favorite parts are all of the court cards. I think they're really beautiful and they really embody the essence well of the cards. I have received one Kickstarter. Reading on quite a few, you guys. The end of the year has been very rich in Kickstarters. I'm sure a lot of you have backed the latest Tasha Burrington Tarot. I have, of course. There was the creator Trix from the Telesma Tarot who released a new collage deck, and I love the Telesma, so of course I backed that. Like, take my money. Literally, all of my favorite creators right now are releasing Kickstarters. It's gonna be an expensive end of the year, but there's definitely gorgeous tarot decks being created, so I'm happy to support my favorite artists. In terms of Kickstarters, this is the only one I received recently. Actually, one of those where I don't even really remember backing. This is bad, right? It doesn't happen to me very often, but I think this is when I was in hospital and I was going through a really bad time, and I remember picking like a couple of tarot decks, couple of books, and I think this is when I backed this one, probably because at the time I was in a lot of pain and I wanted something cute and sweet. You're gonna see there's another couple of cute decks here. There's a theme. I think I needed some like serotonin or dopamine or something, so I backed this. It's a cat deck, you know. And I've actually received it yesterday, so you're gonna see it's still in order. It came with a little leaflet, very straightforward. You have a little bit of explanation as to what is on the card, upward and reverse keywords. Why is this not added in here? You know, you could have definitely maybe printed it shorter. Fit in that. I'm not a huge fan of guidebooks that fit separately to the box, especially when it's like that kind of paper that gets quite battered, but I mean, it's a detail. I'm here for the card. I obviously, when I backed it, thought it was super cute, and because I received it yesterday, we're gonna look at it together. So it's called the Me Tarot. I don't even know if you guys can buy this now. I'm assuming probably on website like probably Tevada, things like that. So here are the backs. Absolutely adorable. I love them. And we have gorgeous hollow edging. And this is a cute little cat deck. And I actually don't have any cat decks in my collection. I don't even have a cat anymore. My cat passed away, like the family cat passed away last year. So I only have dogs now. But when I saw this one on Kickstarter, I just fell in love with the art style. I thought it was super cute. My inner child is like, I need this in my life. So what they've done is that for each of the suits you're going to see, we have different cats. For the wand, we have Abyssinian. What is that? I've never heard of that. Is that like a cat racehorse? I've got no idea. Pentacles are lucky cat. Cups are British short hair blue, and the swords are Sylvan golden chinchilla. Okay, for those of you cat lovers out there, you probably are knowing what these means more than I do. To me, I just know it's cute cats, okay? So again, very RWS coded, but I just love the art style. It reminded me also the reason why I picked this one up, even though I don't even have a cat anymore, is because it reminds me of some cozy video games I love to play, like Calico. It's a little video game on Switch where you can run a cat cafe. I love to play that when I'm flared up because it's chill. It's not a game where you have to be super focused. Another one I've enjoyed playing is Mineko's Night Market, which also is very like cat coded. And so it reminds me of a lot of cute, cozy games I enjoyed playing. This aesthetic, I also thought it would be great for inner child readings, or just to use when I want something sweet. Look at this 7 of Cups. It's so cute. I've always wanted a cat deck. I was always hesitating. There's a few on the market for sure. I know some of you out there collect cat decks, and I think that's really sweet, especially if you love cats. I was always looking for my perfect one before I committed, and I think I found it because I just adore this art style. It's really sweet, and it just speaks to my inner child again. Super cute, the little kitty walking on the wand, the celebration here, adorable. Even here, the kitty's fighting for a ball of yarn, adorable. Look at the 6 of Wands with the little duck. Expect to see this on my future readings because I can't keep this for myself. I have to share it. It's too cute. And let me know if any of you guys have backed this deck as well. I forgot to say we had one extra card, which is the Me card. I won't be putting it in my tarot deck, but it's very cute. Let's move on to a couple of decks from US Star Wheel. I put an order back in, I think, September, and I received my decks in early October. So I've actually been using these decks. Those of you who don't know US Star Wheels, I think they do free shipping often. They often offer free shipping internationally, which is, my favorite English words ever. When I read free shipping, I'm like, you're speaking to my heart right now. This is wooing me. And to offer decks in 2 options. So oftentimes you'll find the decks either in portable version or like collector edition. The ones I'm sharing with you are all collector editions, meaning they're normal size. Because I'm not a huge fan of smaller decks when it comes to tarot decks, but for those of you who prefer smaller decks, I think you'll be able to find all of the ones I'm sharing now as a smaller version. So the first one I wanted to talk about is actually the one I've been using the most. It's the Journeyman's Melody Tarot by US Star Wheels. I think I paid 30 euros for this one, 30 or 35. So it's like a little bit more than mass market, but cheaper than other indie decks that currently I'm seeing indie decks around 70 euros or 60 euros at least. So I would say this is in between mass market and indie prices at the moment. The collector edition, it comes with one of those boxes that fully open. We have a little guidebook and it's full color. So that's great. We have the images represented here, at least for the major. Here are the backs. We don't have any edging or anything, but what I love about this one is that it's very fantasy inspired. You're gonna see the couple of decks I picked from them are actually very fantasy related. This one feels more like Zelda, almost like the Legend of Zelda. I would say classical fantasy, epic fantasy. You have little gnomes and you have elves, and it's giving that almost adventure element, right? D&D and classic fantasy. So that's why I picked this one up. The other one I'll share with you later on is giving a little bit more fantasy, but in the modern world, whereas this one feels more like classic fantasy where you are completely in another world where there's magic, and it's again very cute. It's giving for me a little bit of Zelda, which I love, and I love especially those little gnomes or gnomish figures. They're adorable. They are in the pentacle suits. There's a lot of little gnomes, and I love them very much. For the sword, we have more, I would say, classical angel-looking warriors. The wands have folk with cat ears. I don't know how you call that. tabaxi maybe? I don't know, I don't want to speak shite, but yeah, the wands have more so cat ears, kind of warrior looking people. And finally for the cups we have more classical elves with pointy ears. So this feels very much like fantasy inspired, obviously. There's a little bit of steampunk inspiration, you know, some of the characters are alchemists, or it looks like, and it's just a good time. I've actually been using this one quite a lot recently for myself. I read for friends with this one, and it was a good reader. It's a fun time, honestly. You guys know I love fantasy decks. I need to do a fantasy deck collection. It's gonna be epic and long because that's probably the category I have the most of in my collection. I have a ton of fantasy tarot and oracle decks. I need to do a collection. I love this Knight of Cups, it's gorgeous. I need to do a tarot collection where I share with you like all of my different fantasy decks and what I use them for, and because different decks have different strengths, to be honest. And this one so far I've really enjoyed to use for creative readings, things like related to really the wands suit, I would say, passion, creativity, things like that, projects. It seems to be this deck's strengths so far. Another one I really can't wait to use for you guys on my second channel. This is a super underrated. I never see anyone sharing this one, and yet I think it's really cute, so I'm happy I've been able to discover it, and I'm excited to use it for you guys soon. I should have said, in terms of the cardstock, this is linen cardstock, but good quality. You can bend it and you'll be fine. For those of you guys who like to riffle shuffle, this will be a joy. The other deck I picked up from US Star Wheel, again I got the deluxe edition or collector's edition, which just means it's normal tarot size, is the Orc Alien World tarot. I think again I paid around 30 euros for this one, and it says a wondrous and diverse world full of magic, technology, mystical races and creatures. So this is again fantasy inspired, but in this one we are definitely more in a modern world kind of fantasy world, if that makes sense. You're gonna see there's like phones and like technology things that make us feel like we're stepping in a modern world. I would say, for those of you who watch Dimension 20, this feels very like fantasy high, right? For those of you who watch that D&D campaign, it feels very fantasy high. We're in a normal inspired world, but the people there, the folks there are orcs. Orc aliens. So it's really cool and unique, quirky and crazy, but you guys know I love weird decks. I love the bags, super cute. Again, we don't have any edges. This time it's not linen, it's just paper. I think you could get this on PVC as well, but I don't really like plastic decks, so I got the paper version. Very joyful, very cheerful. This is a very happy, joyful, and kind of crazy deck, which again, I've really been enjoying using. All of the people have huge ears. They're this strange like mix of human looking with animal ears, and some of them are fully animal people. Look at this King of Pentacle Foxman working on a laptop. Some of them look a little bit more human but with animal ears. I don't really know what's going on there, but I am here for it, to be honest. I'm here for it because I think it's fun. And another one that's very RWS coded, and that's just really sweet. I love these Two of Cups. It's adorable. They look like they are the diner. For me, when I saw this deck, I was like, oh yeah, this is fantasy high in a deck. And because I love fantasy high, I was like, this is perfect. When I want to escape, but I want something cheerful and happy and fun, this is perfect. I love those little stars kind of being. Again, it's a strange mix of different looking folks. A lot of it feels more modern. We have a centaur giving a speech looking like a military man. Why not? The whole deck is why not, right? I mean, why not? We have a farmer, human farmer. Why not? Why not? Absolutely. It's fun. It's bright, and I've actually been using this one a little bit less than the other one because I was getting to know the other one first, but I'm going to be using this one, I think, for Sagittarius season because it feels perfect for that time of year. It feels very fiery in essence, so I think it's going to be a good one for Sagittarius season that's coming up soon. The Death card is so badass. Look at that. That's awesome. And again, another one that I think is hugely underrated. I would never see anyone share it. Strange, and I like that a lot. I love this Nine of Pentacles. It's really sweet. Let's look at a couple more cards. Two of Pentacles. They're like cooking something, I think. Queen of Swords is a little bit older. I love that. Appreciate older Queen of Swords. I think it suits that archetype well. Six of Cups is really sweet. So yeah, this feels like a little bit anime. It feels a little bit D&D. I love this Nine of Wands, you guys. When I saw this one, I was like, oh, you know, there's something, as someone who lives with chronic illness, seeing someone going through illness in any deck is always like validating, and I always appreciate it. So that's always like a little something that makes me like a deck even more. When I see disability representation or, you know, illness kind of representation, I always feel a little bit more bonded to that deck. Two of Wands is really cute, and we look at one more, the World, which looks like Polaroid pictures of characters. I have 3 more decks I wanted to share with you in today's video, as I did a little order from Salon des Arcanes. Originally, I wanted 1 deck, but I ended up with 3. Girl math. Salon des Arcanes is a French-based tarot shop. They stock indie decks, mass market decks, and they ship to Réunion where I live, but the shipping can be a little bit expensive, so it definitely always makes more sense for me to get a few decks at once, as the shipping prices are pretty much the same, and it wouldn't be worth it to ship just 1 deck. So when I usually shop from Nicolas' shop, Salon des Arcanes, I tend to pick 2 or 3 decks at once so that I can get my money's worth when it comes to shipping. The joy of living on a little island in the middle of the Indian Ocean. You've got to make sure when you get stuff that it makes sense shipping sense, which is why when I see free shipping, those are sweet words to my ears. Anyway, 3 decks I picked up. We have 1 tarot deck, the Eldritch Quest Tarot. I think I paid 40 euros for this one. And then we'll have 2 Oracle decks. So I'll start with the tarot deck. This was the main reason why I wanted this, because originally this was a Kickstarter and I either missed out on it or they were not shipping to Réunion, which sometimes Kickstarters do not. So I was bummed that I missed it. And then I saw Nicolas had backed the Kickstarter and had a few decks from these creators. This is a tarot deck by Artists Magick. They have a few decks out. I think they have a circus theme deck, which looks cool, but I'm a little bit freaked out by circus, so it's not for me. They also have a dinosaur deck, I think. Well, there you go. They have the Arcanasaurus. They have the Enchanted Realm, which looked cool. It's a fantasy theme deck, but when I saw a walkthrough of this one, the miners felt really lazy, so this is why I didn't pick it up. This one, the Eldritch Quest Tarot, is super fun. And again, can you get a sense of the fantasy theme? What can I say? I'm predictable. Here are the backs. Cardstock, I would say linen cardstock. It's okay quality, not super thick, definitely doesn't have a core, so I would be careful shuffling it. And I haven't actually used this one yet, so we are gonna look at it together. It feels like a cartoon meets fantasy meets humor, right? So this one, out of all of my fantasy decks, feels more like a funny kind of fantasy world. There's definitely humor there. And I like that, right? Because I have fantasy decks that feel very grown up. This one feels a lot more fun and cheeky and quirky. And these are also qualities I love in a tarot deck. My favorite deck ever is the Joe Sparrow Tarot, which is a very childlike tarot deck. It's quirky, it's cheeky, it's a little bit childlike and naive in its aesthetic, but it packs a punch, and I love that kind of vibe. So when I saw this, look at this hermit, it's so funny. When I saw this deck, again with a very cheeky, cartoonish kind of art style in a fantasy world with these people going on quests and adventures and inns, and we have elves and centaurs and all of that, I was like, yeah, this is screaming my name. I need this deck in my life. And I was really bummed that I had missed the Kickstarter. We have each suit representing a different type of beings and folk. For the ones we have centaurs, which I think is quite cool actually, because I don't have any other fantasy decks that use centaurs or that represent centaurs, and yet they're a big part of Greek mythology, for example, and lore and folk tale from different parts of the world. So I thought that was quite fun. For the pentacles, we have witches, which I love. We have little witches brewing potions, and it's just super cute. Look at this one under the mushroom, adorable. Little witches with green skin. They are adorable. They're living in the forest. This is probably my favorite suit, if I'm honest. Then for the caps, we have merfolk. So obviously makes sense, right? We're in the water world, and aquatic creature, super cute. And finally, for the sword, we are in a more traditional, classic, Tolkien-esque kind of elf representation, you know, very Legolas. We have elf warriors, pointy ears. They are looking like they're ready to fight. fantasy meets humor meets cartoon. It's very my kind of aesthetic, so I was super excited to get this one. Look at the Queen of Swords, she's so badass. I love her so much. I think this is my favorite card of the deck. She is fierce, yes queen, slay. The King of Swords doing the rock on is also super fun. So yeah, this is a fun deck. I'm excited to use it for myself. Again, it feels very Sagittarius season to me, so I'm gonna be using it as soon as Sagittarian season hit, and I'll come back to you in a favorites video, tell you what kind of readings I've done for it, because I haven't used it yet. So I need to find out if this reads good for like day-to-day or career or whatever. We're right, we'll find out what. Last couple of decks I wanted to share with you that I got from Salon des Arcanes are two indie oracle decks. One that I've been absolutely obsessed with. I use this every single day ever since I've gotten it. I've already used it on my other channel, The Waves of Your Soul readings. If you watched my November months ahead reading, you will have seen it. I'm completely obsessed with this deck and kind of feel like this is going to become a workhorse for me. That is the Antiquities Magick Oracle by Gillian C. Wilde, and this is volume 1, so I guess there's another volume. I don't know, I haven't seen it. In this one we have 54 poker size cards and 110 pages guidebook. There's a guidebook for each of the cards. You have keywords, you have references to tarot cards, you have an explanation of the symbolism used on the card, and you have an oracle message. The guidebook is great, and I've referred to it at the beginning, but because this deck speaks so well on its own, I'm using it fully intuitively, and it's wonderful. I'm really enjoying this. I could see this becoming part of my favorite oracle decks of the year, to be honest, because I've used this every single day since I've received it. It's really good. Here are the backs, really beautiful. I love them. We have gorgeous matte edging, and this is one of those decks that is very simple and yet effective. I love those kind of oracle decks. You have the name of the object and then you have a keyword. So here, for example, feather, we have faith, and these objects are very, like, I would say universal, right? Everyone will recognize them probably. We have, things like ships and scales. So it feels like the kind of deck that everyone will be able to recognize and work with, but people will have different associations with each of the symbols, right? For example, here the lizard is linked to renewal. For me, living somewhere where those lizards are kind of like actually taking over. The green lizards that we have, they are an invasive species, they are eating the lizards that are endemic to Reunion. They were brought from Madagascar on the ships that were used during the slave trade, right? So they kind of arrived in Reunion Island, and now they are eating all of the endemic lizards. To me, it's not related to renewal only, but also to potentially like colonization and the feeling of like taking over something. So everyone is going to have different associations with these traditional, very universal symbols, and this has been my go-to for divination. Because if you guys don't know, I love to use those kinds of oracle decks for divination, for pure fortune telling. What is going to be the energy of the week ahead? What is going to be happening next month? What's going to happen at my friend's job interview, etc., etc. Yes, I can use tarot and I love to do that, but I also love to use these kinds of divinatory oracle decks. A great example would be the Memento Mori, for example. That's one of my go-to for divination. Another one I would use is Mildred's Pain Pocket Oracle, right? All of those kind of oracle decks that focus on one object and one concept, I believe are great for divination and fortune telling, and this is what I've been using it for myself, for others, for you guys on my other channel, to get the energies, to get looking at what's happening in the future, things like that. This is fantastic. It reads like a dream. I love the fact that we have more than 50 cards, and it's really beautiful, and the art style goes with everything. Like, it really goes with so many decks. More classical looking decks, it will go great with fantasy decks, nature decks, easy to pair. Super happy I decided to pick this one up. The last deck I wanted to share you guys as part of this haul is probably the most beautiful one, honestly, out of all of the ones I'm sharing with you today. It's a deck I've been lusting after for ages, so I'm so happy to finally have my hands on it. It came in this gorgeous pouch. Again, I got mine from Salon des Arcanes, but I'm sure you guys can get this directly from the creator as well. And it is the Old Ways Magic Oracle by Naomi Cornock. And this is Absolutely beautiful. So originally this indie deck was released with 30 cards, I think, and then Naomi did a second version with 50 cards or something like that, 50 or 60, I can't remember. So I'm actually glad I waited to get this deck, as I could get the version that has a little bit more card, and we know I'm a greedy bitch, the more card the better. So it comes in a tug box. As you can see, the cards are definitely larger, and this feels a little bit plasticky, I would say, very bendy, very flexible. And I think it's coated with plastic. So just so you know, here are the backs of the card. Beautiful. And this is a very Celtic inspired deck and also very nature inspired. I think Naomi is a hugely talented artist, so I'm so happy I could get this deck in my hand. Here are the details to the artist, gnomeart.com if you want to check it out. And in the guidebook, we have actually 3 different meanings for the card. So she explains that the first meaning is called the welcome, and it shows how the energy can positively affect your life. The second meaning is a warning, and these are potential negative influences. And the last meaning is a spirit, the essence, what she called the wisdom of each card. For example, the adder serpent, an explanation as to what's on the card, but then we always have a welcome, a warning, and a wisdom. So really cool guidebook. It's like not a ton of writing, but I think it really goes to the essence, and I've enjoyed reading through it. So as I was telling you guys, this is hugely inspired by Celtic mythology, Celtic folklore, and nature, obviously, mostly from the British Isles, as this is where the artist is from. So we have a lot of animals that are like from that landscape and from that ecosystem. It's not at all animals or kind of an ecosystem that relates to me, as I'm living in a tropical island, but I lived in the UK for 10 years and I really miss connecting with that kind of Celtic energy. And so when I saw originally Naomi's art style, I fell in love. I think it's so beautiful, and I just adore the attention to detail, the colors, the way that the spirits of the nature are depicted is really, really special. I mean, this is one of the most beautiful decks I have acquired this year. It's really special. Just the amount of detail, the nature inspiration, and the energy of the deck. In terms of the egregore, it feels channeled. It feels really, really channeled and special, right? It feels like there was a lot of energy and love and intention poured behind it. And so it feels very special, this deck, I will say. I am mostly going to be using it for myself for now, to connect to my guides. I think this is a very spiritual deck. To be honest, I wouldn't necessarily use this for divination, at least right now. I want to use this more for peeking through the veil, speaking to my guides, connecting with the universe, maybe doing a little bit of journaling, and then I will see if I want to integrate it into larger tarot readings, potentially pairing it with my fairy decks. I think this would go great with Tarot des Royaumes Cachés. In English, you guys know this one as the Hidden Realms Tarot. I think they would go great together. Obviously, this would go great with the Druidcraft, I think. Tarot, any tarot that relates to nature. I love this one so much. It's so beautiful. Yeah, it feels really channeled, this one. And yeah, the egregore, the energy of this is wonderful. I think I would also like to try and pair it with my Story Medicine Tarot, as whilst one feels more like Celtic, this one, and the other one feels more inspired by North American ecosystem, so different inspiration. They both feel very rooted in nature, feminine wisdom, and spirit. So I'm curious to see how they go together. If you guys have this one, let me know how you like to use it, which tarot decks you like to pair it with. I'm really curious. Obviously, it's gorgeous, but I'm also curious in terms of pairing with energetically, which decks it goes well with. I'm so happy to finally have my hands on it. So that is Old Ways Magic Oracle, and I encourage you, if you like this art style, to go and follow the artist on Instagram. She shares a lot of her art style online on her Instagram, and it's beautiful. Look at this card. Oh, I can't, you guys. It's so beautiful. And I wanted to finish on my favorite card, the Offerings card. There's something so profound and beautiful about this card. As soon as I saw it, I was like, yeah, I need this in my life, you know, it's really special. So I hope you enjoyed this little haul, and thank you so much for spending time with me. I always really appreciate you hanging out. Let me know in the comments which ones were your fave. Let me know if you've gotten any new decks recently, the decks you're excited to get potentially before the end of the year. Let's have a good kiki in the comments. I love to chat with you guys. Thank you again so much for your patience and support whilst I'm still kind of getting back on my feet in terms of my health. I really appreciate your patience, and just wanted to say a huge thank you for still being here even when I'm not being the most consistent creator out there. Until next time, I'm sending you so much good vibes. Keep navigating the waves of your soul, and I'll see you soon, internet. Bye!